Hi. I think you can see me. Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, here's the cat again. There more now. I'm sorry. It's been a hard day. How do I make it skipping everything? Thanks for going on. I should have good checked it better. I'm waiting for Jamie. She's supposed to be in this cave too. I invited her through Google Hangouts, so I don't know if Google Hangouts is going to work.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but where are you?
I'm.
Oh dear.
But we can hear me at least.
I can definitely hear you. I can't see you. You look like a tree.
That's my icon, whatever you call it, avatar. I'm not sure how to get the other.
All right. If we can't see you, we can at least hear you. I think over everything.
Okay.
Which is good enough for now. Unless if we can get you up, let's do it. But otherwise, we'll just do it this way. And I'm glad I'm looking at the small picture, so the big picture, because I look exhausted. But okay, we can see me looking exhausted, and sometimes the cat Tai comes back in and out.
Okay.
And oh, there's your icon, but you're not there. There's your tree.
I've got the icon. I just don't know how to get the camera, the feed going.
Okay, I think what you do is you put the does your computer have
my camera's? Yeah, I've got the webcam. I've got it
on.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it. See, let's see, YouTube, upload. No, it's upload.
I'm glad I didn't tell anybody about this in advance.
Yeah, I haven't figured this one out, how you do two people talking, and I'm not sure quite yet how to do this. I just got, sorry.
Okay. It's okay. I'll just talk to your tree. I can hear you, and I assume that we can hear each other over the.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You're talking to the tree.
I will talk to the tree, and every time you talk, the tree will come up. That's fine.
Okay.
Better to talk to a tree than Hillary Clinton.
Yes. And I have been reading about superdelegates.
Go ahead. Well, we could talk about. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you pick the subject first.
If you want to talk about superdelegates, go ahead, because.
All right. You know, I was going to try to figure out what they are, and apparently they come up after the 1968 Democratic National Convention, and the whole purpose was to have supposedly to make the less controlled by party leaders. However, bizarrely, because of the way they're chosen, I read down here that only state party chairs and vice chairs are guaranteed superdelegate basis, and then the rest of them are divided up in a couple ways. And it's kind of like you've still got these delegates which are chosen not by anybody who's voting, but by the party, the people who run the party.
Party machine,
it's very, very, very peculiar.
It's bad.
Yes, very bad.
It's bad. And not only that, but people who run who are superdelegates don't even have to be elected. I think
no, they're not elected.
And some of them are not. They're elected as governors or mayors, like that. But some of them are just whoever gives the most money to the party, frankly.
Yeah, and they put in this layer between voters and the party, which I think personally, I think makes voters feel like they're even more cut out of the system.
I think so too, and I think they are cut out of the system. When I think the Electoral College and superdelegates are an extreme cause of what's happening right now.
Yeah,
because when they say, for example, that I don't even want to look at this. It's horrifying and depressing to that degree. But when they say that, where is this thing? You can see me, but I can't see you. Hillary Clinton has won with Florida, which is, boy, I look beat. I am beat. This was a beating of a day. I'm waiting for the newest results. when they say 99% reporting from Florida is 64.5, or horrific is for Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders 133.3%. That's talking about the popular vote, sort of. Because all that really gets counted is the delegates, the 122 versus 60, and it would be so simple to fiddle with results of the people. The people's results
Yeah.
would be very easy to fiddle with.
Oh yeah.
Citizens' votes. It would be extremely easy to, pretend you're counting ballots when you're not really counting ballots.
Well, it isn't like we haven't had a history of that. That has happened.
I know.
And and then on top of it, with the whole superdelegate business, it feels yet another layer that keeps people from the process.
People are not really involved in the process. They let us think we're involved in the process.
Yeah.
But that I can't see anything, so that's why I'm doing this. We are not exactly, that's the best way to put it, involved in the process.
Yeah.
We are a layer removed from the process. And it's that layer that keeps the machine on both sides going. It's that layer that is annoying the people who are voting for Trump. That's the problem. That's how we're getting Trump, and that's how we were getting Bernie Sanders. Is people are beginning to see that we are being run by two very entrenched political machines.
Mm-hmm. I think also what we've seen, and somebody was describing, I think, Ron Paul, and I don't really follow him or the Republicans, but apparently anytime you get an outsider candidate in, it's like they tend to have weird problems like delegates sent to the wrong place, boxes law. I mean, I think that there's a tendency to push out outsider candidates and stick to whatever the party thinks is the best possibility. I'm not phrasing that right, but
you're right. Whoever the party wants is where we're going to go, and why that is what really needs to be looked at. And
I think also it's like we haven't, in a certain way, I think that they assume that the voting populace, isn't going to vote, isn't going to read, and has the attention span of gnats.
So
we're also responsible for this, this flaming handbasket that we're in.
We are partially responsible for it, because even if every single person voted, right? Even if every single person voted, they could still take the vote.
True, they could.
And they are.
Yeah.
I
don't think they think that people are paying attention, though. I'll say one thing about this whole debacle is I hear more people saying, what is this super delegate? What is this thing? And that's good.
That is true. That is true. I didn't even know what a super delegate was until this whole election came up. I didn't, I knew what a delegate was. I knew I thought that they were completely beholden to voting for the people's candidate. And now I know that I actually knew that they had a choice of not being quite beholden. But I had thought at first that they were completely, but the super delegates I didn't know. And I don't really understand why they would come up during an exceptionally important Democratic election as 1968, which was Nixon. Was it 68? Yeah, because McGovern.
Yeah, it was 68. I was reading up on Google, and it was in 1968.
So McGovern decided to work on this before he was a candidate. Okay, because McGovern was a very liberal. I hate that word, but liberal.
Well, bizarrely, they thought the idea was this is going to put more power into the voters, and it's completely the opposite.
Because I don't know that in 1968, when people were, unlike what people think, much more moral than they are now, outrageously more moral than they are now, and much more concerned with issues of parity not parody like they might be now, Parody, but parity, Pari.
Yeah, parity. Yes.
Parody. I'm sorry, because it's hard to say over
Yeah.
all this noise and everything.
Yeah.
Then when they were concerned about this, adding more Democratic voters and candidates and people that would help the Democratic Party might have helped. But now, when they're concerned about nothing, since 1980 we have, probably before that, but that's when I can remember. But it was past the 60s, because the 60s is what forced us into this idiocy. By being so different from the rest of the late 20th century or mid-late 20th century. By the 80s, we were kind of mushed nicely, pushed a little bit here and there into just caring about money and things, just like that. We stopped being a value. We stopped being a culture with values, and since then, they've been able to do anything they wanted to shape the country and shape the parties. And including with the superdelegates, because now when it turns into something where being a superdelegate means that you've paid the most money, you've given the most money to the DNC.
Well, you're somehow a party insider.
Yeah. I mean, well, how much money does it take to be a party insider? How are they even,
Yeah.
How is a party insider even defined? This stuff is not coming up, and it should be. And it's not. And to look at what happens tonight, which I think is, I can find more sad songs to play for today. I'll look up the
Hang on, I'm looking right now. Let's see. Right now in Missouri, Sanders is leading 51-48.
Good.
And in Illinois, he's behind about 3 points.
That, as I said in every single one of my videos today.
Yeah. That makes no sense, but
Find in Illinois.
Ohio made no sense to me.
Ohio made no sense to me either.
I'm from Ohio, so I guess it can make no. Yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But
if you have Michigan, which went to Sanders, is in the Rust Belt, and it's also lost many jobs, obviously. There's no question that Michigan has had the newest Flint debacle, and the rest of the whole mess with Michigan. And then you have Ohio, which is right next to it, part of the Rust Belt, also has lost jobs. It's a very strange animal that will say that he could win Michigan and she could win Ohio by a landslide. She pretty much did. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. And he went to the University of Chicago. And I can't remember which article it was that was titled, so he has Chicago Times. Is it going to be the enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders that will take Illinois, or is it going to be the Democratic Party's ties, the DNC's ties, that will take Illinois? And nothing can beat the DNC ties. We're seeing that, and that is terrifying, absolutely terrifying. If you can't beat the money that goes into the Democratic Party, no matter how many people you get, the money that goes into the Democratic Party is there to not only raise funds to promote your candidate, but to screw up your election. There's something very wrong. This has nothing to do with democracy. All people screaming and yelling about Sanders being a communist.
Don't know what a communist is, for starters.
Well, yes.
Okay, how about that?
What they're not understanding is if you've got is essentially a controlled election by money. It doesn't matter what the source is. And they're usually money. There's usually money is what control money. I can't remember the song name, but
David Bowie.
I can't remember. It's money. It's probably money, but money controls everything.
Yeah.
And if you've got both parties indentured more or less to money and run by money, nobody, it's not anything. What I was going to say is it's not anything. They're complaining about communism, but that's closer to totalitarianism. It's just got this kind of gleam of democracy across it. That this kind of it's wrapped in democracy. But if all you've got are two rich parties battling each other for ascendancy, you've got two rich parties. What the citizenry of these millions of people want and need doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've got they're worried about communism because it's controlled by a central, I don't know what else they're worried about. A central agency, the government is in control. But by having two parties that are not very different at this point, they're much less different now than when that came up with Al Gore and George W. Bush not being very different. You look at it, it's like, are you nuts? But now she's a Republican. She started out as a Republican. You don't lose how you're born. Not easy. You have to make an effort, and her effort is small. And she can wrap herself in being a Democrat when she's not. Very yeah. She's taken up all of Sanders. Like many, I can't say on all of Sanders' ideas. He says it, she says it. No one's seen this. Anyway. You know, everybody I think of is a value has said this, that she was a Republican until she was in her early 20s. She was a Goldwater girl, and then in 1968 approximately, when Kim became very, very trendy and very a la mode to become a Democrat or on the left, that's when she joined. Not at the beginning of the civil rights movement. That is all nonsense. She joined when all the cute guys, according to Gloria Steinem, I will use this here because it fits better, all the cute guys were in the Democratic Party and on the left when she decided to become a Democrat. And it was politically convenient to become a Democrat. And then eventually she married the cutest guy of them all, our ex-president, who, while not particularly physically imposing, I think is the word, not a glory unto, God, as far as gorgeous genetics go, still came across as the sex symbol of the Democratic Party for years. And she married him. So don't tell me, Gloria Steinem, who I am so disappointed in, that cute guys had nothing to do with her conversion from Democrat to Republican, which never really happened. All it happened is that she moved over. She changed parties. I don't see anything better than that. And I'm very frightened of her.
Yeah.
Why I'm frightened of her as people are of Donald Trump. I think that the only reason that people voted for Trump, I think the major reason, I said this on the telephone, I'll say it again, the major reason people turned from Sanders to Hillary, if this isn't all just party nonsense and screwing around with ballot boxes, the people who may have turned from Sanders to Hillary probably did because they're terrified of Trump. But I'm somewhat more terrified of her, because with Trump, if we got Trump, which we will not, if she could buy off Bernie Sanders, she can buy him off, but if she can buy off his movement, she can certainly do that with Trump's. She can certainly fiddle around. He's an outsider, remember, whether you like him or not, and I don't, he is an outsider. So she's got more advantage when it comes to screwing around with machines and stuff or whatever. She can mess with his stuff.
Yeah, and I think also she may be able to come across way better in a debate.
Oh, of course she can. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She's just an idiot. There's no question. The only good thing you get with Trump is that if you get Trump, you get a backlash. You get a movement that hates Trump. So you do have this underground, maybe.
I'm just afraid of the kind of backlash she's going to cause.
She might. Well, her backlash is the Bernie Sanders movement. I don't worry too much about that.
Okay.
Although, at least on the left,
we have a good one.
You know, on the right, I don't know. The right hates her guts. And you're right, because I wasn't thinking of this. I was thinking about what the left is going to do. Because I never think about the right. I just think, well, you know, they're idiots. Most of the time they are. Once in a while you'll find someone who's vaguely tolerable. Not for long. And what the left would do, or rather what the right would do if we voted in Hillary Clinton, probably the same thing they're doing now. They hate everybody anyway. I don't know. Do you know? You know more right-wing people than I do.
Because I come from a really strongly right-wing family. Pardon me while I choke over that.
Okay,
a lot of them just dislike the Clintons almost bizarrely on principle. They really hate the Clintons. Now, I can't always get logic out of them. I mean, you don't usually get logic out of extreme right-wingers, or at least I find I don't. And it's more so with family members. So there was such a constant like hatred for Clintons. I am surprised at how well she did. Like how she could take Nevada.
Yeah, I don't. It's really, I know libertarians. Well, so do you. But I don't know any Republicans. Yeah. And my parents only knew the ones that tried to get them to join the John Birch Party.
That was probably my parents.
No, it was next door neighbors when I was a real little kid. And
yeah.
It was just very funny. And they don't hate you. No.
They're funnier if you're not related to them.
I believe you. It's just, the whole thing that was funny was how they put it across, because they really wanted my mom to join. Anyway, nobody knows who these people are, but it's, my mother was raised by laborers, and
that went over well.
Yeah, and so they never joined the party. She always told me that they never quite joined the party, but I mean, oh, Jamie, it's so hard now.
I think one of the things to address also with Hillary Clinton is there's a lot of articles saying that guilting older feminists. Now, as an older feminist, I was super offended, because first of all, just because somebody is a woman doesn't automatically mean they're safe. If that's the case, it'd be okay. Does anyone remember Phyllis Schlafly? Scary woman. I mean, who would you rather have? Say Bernie Sanders, Phyllis Schlafly.
I know.
So the idea that we're supposed to vote for only based on gender is frankly scary. That's so counter. It seems to be counter to, at least when I was as an old feminist, I find that very runs against everything what we would have believed in.
I don't understand how anyone who believes in any kind of human philosophy that believes in being kind to others, just the most basic thing, kindness to others, simple thing, can believe that someone's crotch can change who you are. It has nothing to do with it. It's maybe I didn't do that as well as I could, or as I normally do, but it's just like,
well, I think we're also kind of rattled by the results coming in.
Yeah, I'm very rattled. I'm very upset by Illinois. Illinois really hurts because I'm from there. My whole group is from Illinois.
Oh, Ohio. I'm from Ohio.
Yeah. And because both of them, the Rust Belt stuff, the fact that people who desperately need jobs are voting for somebody who doesn't give a goddamn and a half.
Yeah.
Jobs or not. It's very, very distressing. And he would have, I'm thinking, my thoughts are too big. I'm thinking, oh, WPA, I'm working, I'm working tomorrow, but, he's not going to, not gonna get next. It's not over yet. I should say that, because if anyone watches this besides you and me and people I know, I can't say that, because this is the best tape we have made. I think. It's certainly better than the ones I did by myself. So I don't want to be too depressed because I can be that way.
Yeah. Also,
And,
maybe we can find out how to do this so you don't have to talk to a tree.
oh, yes. Yeah. And what we have to do is because I'm much better at it when I have someone to talk to, because I
Yeah.
talk to myself. I'm not like, well, this thing looks bad here, and I'm obsessed with how I look. It's just, everyone has their foibles, and that is mine. It always has been. I look way better in person than I look in this tape. Way, way better in person than I look in this tape. Every single thing that's wrong with me is magnified in this camera. And, it's depressing because people who know me know that. And it's depressing. But anyway, Sanders seems to still be winning Missouri, which is the strangest thing. Because that was one that I predicted that he might not win, and it's okay, maybe he'll win.
Yeah.
But Clinton is leading in Illinois, and because it's got such a venerable left wing. I mean, remember Chicago '68? That was Illinois too.
Yeah.
It's got years and years and years of Chicago '68 was late in the game of being a hotbed of left wing activism. To see that Hillary Clinton could get anywhere near winning.
Well, maybe because that's sort of a central base of the Democratic Party.
That's what it is. And that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary. I'm very, we'll talk more about superdelegates when I'm less tired and just half dead because I've been doing this all day. And I'm really sick right now. And I was yesterday and sicker, so I'm slow on the uptake and easy to cry. Even easier than normal. That's a miracle. But we'll have to wait and see. He's not out yet. He's down, but not out. I do have to say that.
Yeah.
You have to have 2,300, I'm reading, and 83 delegates needed for nomination. She's got 1,488, which means there's almost 1,000 left to go. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking down here.
Then we have this problem with the superdelegates, which you may have noticed. Superdelegates need to be abolished. She has 467.
I think if nothing else, this is pointing out the problem with the superdelegates. It isn't hideable.
No, that's good. It needs to go. If it was a good idea in '68, and I don't understand what happened, I need to research it more. It's not a good idea now.
Sometimes we've done things that seem like a good idea, and over time it goes wildly awry.
Yeah, I believe I've married 3 of those, but
well, we won't go there.
That's okay.
We've all done things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Some of us have done more of them, and
Who's counting?
the last one was okay until he went awry. But the first one was great until he went really. Oh God. Anyway, superdelegates. Let's think of the superdelegates as if they're my second husband. We all know who that is. So, if husband number 2. So.
And you know how I like your husband number 2.
Yes, that's why I call him that. Okay, if I can get rid of him, it took me a while, but I did it. And and even at the end, for the last few years, I thought he was going to kill someone if I didn't stay with him because he was out of control. And outside he's Ranger Rick, but inside he's this monster. Completely out of control. Just, oh my Lord. Oh, anyway, if he could go, more or less go, almost completely go, he's gone. Then certainly we can get rid of the superdelegates. I mean,
that would be a good thing to carry away from this. getting a movement to have people more involved and pull out some of these players.
I mean, for me, the most interesting thing would be to have a real left-wing movement again. I'm sick, obviously, we all know it, and I don't know if I'm going to last through a whole new left-wing movement, but I'm a lot younger than Bernie Sanders. Maybe I'll last a little longer. It would be nice to be part of one. There hasn't been one since I was an adult at all. None. There hasn't been one since I was like a teenager at all. None. You go into what is supposedly a communist group, and they start talking about how you can't have feminism until the revolution's won. And it's like, look, people, the revolution is not going to be won very quickly in the United States. We've been trying to win it since the 1910s. It's not happening now.
And it really went bad once the television was invented.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's almost, I know it wasn't invented for that reason, but it's almost like it was, because there was no, give people bread and circuses, and they're going to, chew on their chicken and watch television. And that's what they've been doing for decades. Decades and decades. Once you have cable, and once you have MTV, I always scream and yell about MTV. Once you have that, there's no way to rebel that is not already programmed into you. So you're rebelling because you like this band or this band. It's already been sold to you. These bands have been sold to you. People from it, it still happens. Some don't even need MTV. People just are more than willing to have music sold to them. And so, and with the youth who get their rebellion by, paying for it at the market to people who have nothing to do with rebellion. When that goes, you've lost your bottom. And once you hit, I don't know, when must I start getting too tired? 26? Yeah, once you hit old enough to have a big job and a horrible spouse and maybe some kids, you're less likely to go into a revolution unless they're going to take away your chicken, your home, your relaxation. And they haven't done that in years. They've kept the majority of us at a high enough margin that we don't want to get rid of them. And that's why we're getting Hillary Clinton. That's who's voting for Hillary Clinton. We have no interest in getting rid of people like Hillary Clinton because we don't have to. And we're scared of people like Donald Trump because he's an idiot, for one thing. And, he is an idiot, and there's no question of that. And
she's going to maintain the status quo.
Yeah, and he may not. And the status quo isn't that bad. When there was the original labor movement, the status quo was really bad. You weren't allowed, your employer basically owned you. Remember the company stores?
Yep.
Where you could work for the company, could only buy stuff from the company store. I sold my soul to the company store. And, you didn't really have a choice of anything. Remember the miners? All the miner strikes. Because people were getting, remember silicosis? And we don't have that now. We have enough garbage in between us and silicosis, for example. We don't have to buy things from the company store anymore. So
actually,
we're willing
company
to.
Store is probably Walmart.
More or less. We don't, but it's just far enough away that we're not going to notice. We don't notice. We don't all work for Walmart. I don't work for Walmart. You don't work for Walmart.
True.
Neither of us ever have. And so it's just far away enough that that we don't figure all these abstractions in to our daily life. They don't figure into our daily life. Our daily life is created by things that aren't quite bad enough for us to ever fight against.
I think also there's an aspect with the recession being as bad people I work with are so much is taken up trying to survive financially.
Yes, you're cutting in and out, but yes.
And also,
Yes.
I've got a echo here.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna probably turn it off because I can teach you how to get rid of the echo.
Okay.
And, where am I? It's so funny because I have to get more by the cat tree, which is now a shoe tree. Then you can see me, I think.
Yes, I can see you right in the middle.
Okay, now I'm in the middle. Okay.
Yeah,
A lot
in
of
the middle
people
now.
I don't want to hear where I am in this picture because one of them is big and it shows me something, and the other one's small and shows me something else. And that's the cat tree. They don't like it, so I put my shoes on.
They'll like it. Give them time.
They might. And oh goodness.
They're cats.
I
see
just
one of them was walking behind you.
Yes, it's Tai Tai or somebody. I should probably get going because I can tell you how to end the echo, and on the phone I'll tell you how.
Okay.
Because I figured all this out when I was sick, so I had to sit around and not do anything. So I figured this out. There you go. There's me in the center. But that's I've got to know how to do that because I look much better there, and that looks like I can actually even use that as a picture because the ones they pick are always horrible. I have to always zoom in to pick my photo as the I don't know what they call it, the click on thing. So before they hit me with the copyright God, my teeth look terrible there. I'm gonna have to cut this part out. My teeth aren't bad. Well, maybe they are.
It's okay.
No. I can do that though. That can go. It's because I need to have my bridge fixed, and I have tried demoing around like other things, and having dental work when you have your bridge. It's really painful and scary, and I do it, but it takes me a while. Anyway, I'm going to put on a piece of music, and you can go.
Okay.
And it'll be something that I'm not supposedly supposed to play, that they're not supposedly supposed to own. Okay. And that's
the tree is signing out.
Okay. See you later, and I'll talk to you when I get off of after Paul Robeson or Pete Seeger, whoever it comes. Okay. Very good. Thank you.